Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brewmaster's Draft, not a Brewmaster's Draft, a show where we talk a little bit about Dota and a little bit about beer. I will be your host, as always, Flubb, and I am joined today with my co-host, Kimbrell. Kimbrell, how you doing today, man?
Good. Sorry for it being a little late today. Had some things at work. Had, like everyone knows that watches the show or listens to the show, I work with people with mental disabilities. And doing that, I have to, we have new admits, new people coming in to move in. And today we had two, and one person could not find where we were located. So it took like an extra 45 minutes for us to get that done. So I did not get home in time. So I apologize for that. But anyway, everything's going pretty good. It's Friday. I have the weekend off. I feel pretty good. Tomorrow, I feel like I'm going to play a lot of Dota. And I've played some Dota games here recently. They've gone okay. I know you and I played together, and it was a very disheartening loss. I've lost actually quite a few games in a row, but my last game, I ended on a good note last night. I played Zeus, and that hero is a lot of fun versus a Tinker, let me tell you. So 14-2 as Zeus felt good.
That is very good. 14-2. Yeah, I think that's actually what started my whole streak, was having like a game where I was like 14. I think it was 14-2 on Zeus, something like that. But
yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, good to go. Let's start the drum roll. How are you this lovely divine week we're having?
I'm pretty good, man. Pretty good. As Kimbrell was hinting to, I actually achieved Divine 5 yesterday. Super happy about it. And then I won 2 games after I got Divine 5, so I got my rank like immediately afterwards. Actually, kind of a cool side note, me and Purge got Divine 5 and ranked on the same day, which made me feel really good.
All right. Have you ever seen them in the same room together? I have not.
Well, I would love to be that infamous, but I don't know if I have the same clout as Purge does. But no, that's just a pretty cool piece of trivia for myself, since I'm like such a fan of the guy, and I like people who really analyze stuff. So I really like. It's kind of like a cool thing that I've achieved now. It's like, oh man, I actually did the same thing as like a guy I've looked up to for like 7 years.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. I just like went. I actually had stuff to do yesterday, and I was like, no, I'm feeling a streak. Like I played one game, and I was like, yeah, I'm feeling a streak really hard now. I just kept playing and playing and playing, and before I knew it, I had 13 straight wins. And yeah.
Yeah, man. I looked at your profile after you told me that you got the Divine 5, and I was like, well, let's see. Like, have you been winning a lot of games? Holy shit, man. You won, 13 games in a row when I looked. I was just like, okay. All right. Time to make it 14, and then we lost.
Yeah. No, that was okay, though. Like, that game was a little bit rough, but honestly, there is, like, I felt like there were some people on our team that just didn't feel comfortable with their heroes, and you know, that happens, man, you know. But it was honestly that game was pretty close, though. We could have had a chance of pulling out victory. You had some really good steals, and we were able to kind of turn some fights. But
yeah, every time I had a good steal and I laid down some good skills or whatever, I'd die, right? Like I get close enough, I'd still shaman words. I'm like, all right, throw him down, lift, and then I'm just like, all right, I'm dead. But we killed that guy, so that matters. So it was a little frustrating, but Rubik's always fun.
Yep, true 5 support way, man. I do my business and I die for it.
Yeah.
So that's been awesome. Like, I cannot complain about Dota, obviously. I swear, though, every time my solo goes up, my party goes down. So I think my party's like the lowest that it's ever been right now.
Yeah.
So
they don't weigh party into like your actual like your ranking number, do they? Or do they involve that? Okay, I didn't know how that works.
Because I've started to not be able to queue with people that I could queue before. Right. just a few days ago. So it's a weird experience to like be that high and like have people, be that far away from people at this point. And honestly, I'm not that much. I'm actually still lower than what I was before the switch, man. I'm only 5'7" right now, like 5'7",
Yeah,
14, which I was
that's
like
so
5'8" before. So
right. It's I don't know. It's just so crazy to me. Like you got a freaking number under your stupid thing.
I do. I am 1,252 in the Americas, so feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I'm actually beating that one guy. I told you like a while back on stream, I was like, yeah, dude, there's like two guys that I have. One guy is like definitely better than me. I'm always like trying to get better than him. And the other guy's like around my skill level, and he was like, he got Divine 5 like as it came out. I was like, oh man, I should totally have Divine 5, and now I'm ahead of him. So we're gonna go back and forth in the next couple weeks. Should be fun. Yeah. Anything else exciting to happen to you besides Dota this week? Or maybe we should get onto the Dota drama stuff that's been happening this week.
Yeah, man. I mean, nothing really exciting happened to me. I think I did mention last week that the pandas were dead. I did have some interesting talks though today with a couple people. So maybe I'll have a team again here pretty soon. I don't know. I got to get all my competitive Dota out of the way before little Kimbrell start running around. So I just got it. Megan's gonna look at me again, and be like, "Really? Another team?" Like, yeah. Sorry, it's an addiction, and until we have a kid to take up and occupy that time, I mean, sorry. So, but yeah, no, I mean, not too much has happened this last week. I don't think. I'm sure there's something I'm missing, but yeah, we can
cool,
get
man.
into the Dota drama. There's been plenty. There's been some that happened last week that I don't even think we really even touched on. So
Yeah, I always try to stay away from drama, but at the same time, it's like important to mention it. I feel like when it's like this big of a deal, just to give your 2 cents on it, because like everybody has an opinion on it, obviously, and it's important to voice those, especially when something happens that like really irks you. And I feel like this week, more than any other week, has like really kind of pissed me off about what's been happening in pro meta and just like what's not pro meta but pro politics and bullshit like that.
right. What's happened in the last week? I'm probably are you talking about
It seems like it was last week now, but
about Mr. Peter? Is that what you're talking about?
no.
Or Fnatic? You're talking about Fnatic.
I'm talking about Fnatic because that
You're
happened
talking about
early
Fnatic.
this week.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So those of you who don't know, it's all over Reddit right now. It's been like people have only been talking about it for a while. It seems like on all the
This
popular
is
sites.
not a spoiler at this point anymore. We're bad about spoiling things. This should not be a spoiler, and if it is, that's too damn bad.
Well, it's not even a spoiler because it's not like
Right. It's not like somebody won something like you're trying to watch or anything like that. But
yeah. But Fnatic have kicked Ohio. Basically, EE was orchestrating it and thought it was the best way to go. I can see why he thought that because he generally doesn't. They don't really mesh together as like captain and offlaner. But his reasoning behind it was like he thought that it was the best way to kind of make his team viable. Him and Ohio weren't really getting along, and Universe kind of just like came out and was able to like they were able to really pick up like someone from North America that was very very strong player that could kind of fill that need that he needed in the off lane, and kind of didn't really clear it with people. Things just got moving really fast, and he just kind of like took advantage of the situation as fast as humanly possible and tried to get people together so that the switch would be fast and they could hopefully practice as much as possible. But it really kind of dicked over Ohio, who has been like a crux of Fnatic in the past,
man.
like how long? 2-3 years?
For a while, he's been there through the ups and downs, especially the downs. Like it's just kind of, I don't know. It was definitely shady because didn't he have University? First of all, EE requests for a solo room because he doesn't like staying with anyone, etc. And then he takes Universe and puts him either in his room. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but essentially Universe was there with them, before they even kicked Ohio. So like it was premeditated, like they knew, but they still played with Ohio in that tournament. Or in the what am I thinking? Not playoffs. Qualifiers.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then you qualify and then you're like, all right, deuces. To a guy that's been there, like you said, and through the ups and downs of that team, he's I don't know. Just it's very shitty. And I understand the universe, like you can't turn down no, I'm not going to do that. You're screwing over another person. Like, I mean, you're going to take it. And it also benefits Fnatic because I'm pretty sure Fnatic brings over Universe's points he has.
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah. So, like, TI is an even more realistic step for them. I'm pretty sure they climbed by just adding Universe. They climbed multiple spots in standings.
They did. And that was, like, part of the reason why it was like such a big deal to get them, and why these like roster locks are both like a blessing and a curse, because things are like this are going to happen. Teams are going to have these situations where people are going to be switching out and forming new teams, or like pulling someone out so what seems like abruptly. I almost feel like it's almost the worst time ever to be a pro. Like, I don't want to say that because like money's still pretty good in the pro scene and things like that, but like the past, I want to say like 3 or 4 years, the pros have kind of had like a better scene for, okay, we could just pick someone up and go, and it doesn't really matter. People can get invited no matter what, but it almost feels like it's going to be more detrimental to some pros' careers that aren't like the top dogs, are going to get kind of looked at in this way that Ohio's being looked at. He's not the best offlaner in the world, hands down, but he's still really good, and I mean, he's still obviously a pro for a reason, but it's one of those guys that gets looked at off to the side. He doesn't really get the consideration that he should, and now that there's these other guys that are available that are like more established, I can't even really use that word because Ohio's been established since like day one, but they have more points, and that's what it goes down to. And like it's all like a point system, and that seems really, really impersonal, and like it seems like this path could go worse than how like sports are treated nowadays. Like, you know, people are trading and switching all the time in like basketball, football, and all that stuff.
Right.
But like this seems like this could possibly be even worse, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen pros complain. I've seen complaints, and I've seen, you know, some okay things about it. I did see. I watched What the Duck, one of Moon Ducks, What the Ducks or whatever. And I know it's slacks, but he mentioned something that kind of made me think. He was talking about contracts, and I know in like a Dota scene it probably wouldn't work, but I'm just curious, like if you want Dota to have some sticking power and to staying power in the future, like are contracts even like, are those possible, you think? Like kind of like in the NBA, you sign a 2 or 3 year contract for this amount of money or whatever, and then, you know, after that contract, you can be up for trading. You can choose a team you want to go to, and they can pick you up if they desire to, or you could become a free agent and just let the other team shop you, other things like that. Like, I'm curious, is that something that could possibly happen to Dota one day, or are we just going to try to mess around with multiple different ways and different systems? Because I feel like there needs to be some consistency eventually, because right now, yeah, this is a little crazy, especially for players like Ohio who get kicked, and now he has to go find some tier 2 team. He has to go find some team that is willing to pick him up, that doesn't mind the fact he doesn't have a lot of points, or doesn't mind that, you know, it's kind of close to the end of the roster lock or whatever. Like, I don't know. You're just kind of screwed. If he doesn't find a team in the next like 2 weeks or whatever, you're kind of screwed out of the rest of the season. Which is kind of crazy. So.
Yeah, it sucks that can happen, and I understand what you're saying about the whole contracts thing. And honestly, what I was thinking, like when you brought that up, is that maybe if there's like 6 months contracts, that would be okay, or like, because it's kind of hard to say that you can lock someone in for a full year on Dota, right? Because players, certain patches, they're just not worth what they once were. I actually think that Ohio is kind of one of those those players right now. I think that Ohio is an incredible offlaner, and Darkseer is like a decent hero right now, and like all the heroes that he loves. But like I always think of Darkseer whenever I think of Ohio, and he's just like doesn't have that potential that he once did in the past like year. So kind of going into that logic is I see like okay, well I wouldn't necessarily want Ohio on my team, and the if there wasn't like a way to see that the meta was going to shift in the direction for him to be useful again. And it's hard to see that obviously as a captain, and I don't think that EE used that logic whenever he was going into things. But it's so weird of a concept to me in the beginning because like I actually don't really watch that much sports in general of like basketball or football. All my brothers do that, and it's kind of foreign to me. But how do contracts go for the average basketball player? They go like yearly, right? Or
No, it depends on like your not popularity, but I guess it depends on your skill and how long they want to sign you. So like using a local team of mine, for example, the Thunder just signed Russell Westbrook to I believe a 5-year contract. So he's there for 5 years. He's getting paid a certain amount, and then at the end of that contract, he can either like there's multiple different ends of a contract. You can either become a free agent or restricted free agent, unrestricted free agent. I don't know, man. It's a little crazy, and I don't think that exact formula would work for Dota, but there's some sort of contract formula that I think could possibly work. That way, it's not screwing over people so often the way like it is right now. I don't know.
yeah, I hear you. Sorry, there was someone messaging me during that, so I got a little bit distracted. But I see what you're saying with that, like some type of format that can work in keeping people together. I honestly, this kind of makes me think of, I don't know if it made you think of this, but VP being able to like sign their team over for, what was it? It was almost like a year and a half, I want to say, or was it like just a full year? Because they said to the end of 2018, I believe, when it was like June. So it was like a year and a half that they signed them over, which I was like, oh my god, this is a huge step for Dota. And I feel like this event right here is like a huge step back. Like we took like one giant leap with VP, and then somehow Fnatic took one giant, even bigger step back.
Right.
And it just makes me realize how little we have control over what we are able to control in the pro scene. Like it makes me worried about the pros viability for their like career, you know?
Right.
Are we going to start losing players because it's like, well shit, I could just be like dropped and then lose an entire season and basically not be paid correctly for like an entire year, like 6 months.
Right. Like imagine if EE was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep Ohio. And then every other team was like, yeah, Universe is out there, but our comfort level with the offlaner we have right now is just really good.
Mm-hmm.
Universe is kind of screwed, right? Like either he's screwed or like one of the top 3 best offlaners goes to some smaller team, and it's just kind of it becomes a weird thing because after so long, like you said, say either out of the scene or you're on a smaller team, a kind of a nobody team for an entire year, your name kind of, I guess, it kind of dilutes your name. Your name kind of diminishes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I don't want to get too long on this. We've already gone for a pretty long time on it, but I think it's important to talk about, and I'm glad that we got our 2 cents in on it. I just, personally for me, like I want to kind of wrap this up. You can say whatever you want after this, Kimbrell, but for me, I feel like EE did a classic thing where he tries to put like business first, quote unquote, and he does it in such a way that's very childish and not understanding of like what's going on around him. And if he would have just like actually sat down, like even though it's hurtful to your team and possibly your brand, to be able to like sit down to someone before a tournament and say, "Hey, look, we're thinking about kicking you. Um, you, but we need you to be able to like do this tournament. Or will you still be willing to play with us? Um, we will try to give like they also are like talking about giving him like compensation for money and
Right.
stuff that's won. So it's like if they would have told him that, he would have had like a better feel for it and still been okay with like performing his best to help out the team because he's still getting money for it.
Right.
Um, it was just like so shady to do it after the fact that it just kind of broke all pretenses of like, okay, I'm just doing this as a business perspective, and um, we want him at the best mindset that think that he's like trying to work for something on our team so that he will perform the best he possibly can, and
Right.
he
And
did.
like, uh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, continue your thought, and I'll give you my last thought on that. I guess.
And he did. He did perform admirably, but like you don't like screw someone over just because you can get like a little bit percentage of a better like if you're calculating stuff out that he will be in a better mindset because of that um, marginally because of your decision to keep him in the dark on this one thing. And that's the thing that's really screwed up about it is that like other teams knew before he did. um, I would feel like so betrayed by everyone on that team. I would never want to work with anyone ever again.
Yeah.
uh, and I think he has the total right to do that in the future. Um, and I think that that's like the biggest problem that EE made is like he just basically told every pro player out there, I will drop you at any moment. So if you're on my team.
hmm Um, I mean, the dog's barking. He just kind of used two people to make his way to TI, right? If you think about it, he just used Ohio to get into this tournament to help get points to go to TI. Then he just dropped Ohio, picked up Universe for his points that he already has and his skill to get to TI. It's all one big goal. The end goal is to make it to TI and to place well there, so you make more money and you have more staying power as a
Mhm.
team, et cetera, et cetera. And he just used two people for it. So I don't know. In our chat, Ginger Gamer, which is my buddy Travis, so thinks that contracts could work. Basketball contracts are too complicated, but maybe a football style, just a little bit shorter contracts is decent. It's a pretty good point. Like football, you don't see near as much drama as you do with the NBA about trading and things like that. They have contracts that are typically shorter because your football players' career is usually shorter, especially certain positions. They shouldn't last as long unless they're like one of the greats or something like that. So
Mhm.
I think that's a decent point. I feel like something where there's a little less drama, but um, not as long of a contract would work. So, but anyway, like you said, we talked about it a lot. I didn't have much respect for EE as it was. He's almost reached PPD level right now, so um, I just I'm very annoyed with him. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Fnatic does. On I don't know. Maybe Ohio will find a team. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good point. It's a good point. I do like what Gamer said. I do think that if you keep them short, that's the thing though is trying to figure out the exact amount, right? So, um, but I digress. I'm going to start jumping into Dota at this point, or switch over. Um, did you create the lobby, or do you want me to?
yeah, I got your lobby. Go ahead and
Okay.
talk about your beer while I make the lobby.
That is true. We do need to talk about our beers. All right, so before the show even happened today, I was worried about doing it on air because I didn't know it. I was worried about what exactly happened. It was a beer with a like champagne type bottle where like you had to like screw the wire off, and then it actually like had like a cork top, and it popped off and like sprayed all over like the side, like not on my keyboard, but like all over my keyboard mat, and like I pulled back and it went all over the floor. So I'm glad that I did that not on camera because, well, I don't want
do
to.
it on camera, but
I
before we
did.
started the stream, I might just throw it in there on like the YouTube video as well, just kind of at the end.
Jerk. I knew Kimbrell would do that. Oh man. All right, but anyway, I have the Boulevard Brewing Company's Tank 7 Farmhouse Ale. Pretty simple, honestly. I don't know why I picked this up. It just maybe it had like a good review or something. But like you know me, I usually I'm like, oh man, that is a sweet looking beer. That has some pretty colors on it. I'm gonna grab that. Or I like that name because it made me laugh. But it's okay. We'll see how it goes later on. But it's a basic ale that's like 8% alcohol, or 8.5, so it's not bad.
Yeah. I have Anthem Brewing. Their beer called the Griffalo. It's a sour brown ale.
Griffalo, like a
Griffalo.
buffalo, but
Like
in a griffin.
A griffin and buffalo had a baby. So
Nice.
I don't have my dumbass left the bottle in the kitchen. I have it in a glass today. So
Nice.
Anyway, yes, it says Griffalo on it, and it has a buffalo on it. I don't think there was. I don't know. Anyway, it tastes okay. So far. All right.
So, are you gonna do the randoming again?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again, and I'll just let you get it, man. It's every time.
Go for 9. Oh my god! Oh shit!
Finally, the streak is over. Go fuck yourself.
Oh man, that's incredible.
Good lord.
Oh, I was hoping for the 9th.
God. 8 in a row. So stupid.
I'm gonna go Radiant for this one.
All right. I took second pick. Flubb took Radiant. You know what? I really don't have a draft prepared at all for today. I just kind of winging it today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I today it's just been a busy day. Typically, it's a day of when I start thinking like what I want to do, but or I'll see something cool like earlier in the week, or I've done something recently. But yeah, just kind of winging it today. So you'll probably win.
I don't know about that. I'm definitely going to ban out frickin' Omni Knight because I don't even care if I have first pick. That hero is just dumb.
Yes, he is. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of. I feel like I get rid of the same heroes every week. I'm gonna get rid of Clockwork.
Your turn to ban.
That is a good one.
Yes, it is.
Uh, 10 seconds to pick your hero, you moron. You better pick your hero. 5 seconds.
Okay. I'm gonna ban Nyx as my second pick.
Wow,
Second
I was actually gonna ban Nyx. Thank you, appreciate that.
Really?
Free ban, yeah. I had some thoughts about what I wanted to draft, and I was like, Nyx, don't want to deal with that guy. I'm gonna ban your stupid silencer. I don't think you'd pick it 2 weeks in a row, but there's no telling. So.
Ooh. I think we may have the same idea here. I'm getting a little worried.
What?
Okay, I think I'm okay. I'm gonna ban Night Stalker.
5 seconds left now.
Okay. I don't think we're thinking the same thing. I don't know. There's no telling. I'm gonna ban Razor because that hero is fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just defeats you. Like it's like a Viper, especially like one of the older Viper. Like if you don't punish that person in lane, just defeats you. It's defeating, literally.
10 seconds to pick.
Yeah.
They're running at your base, and you're just like, there's nothing we can do.
5 seconds.
All right.
It'll be fine.
Just die.
I'm gonna go with Disruptor as my first pick.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up a Tusk. Maybe. There we go.
Turn to pick. Relax.
And Ancient Apparition.
Hello. It's your turn to pick.
Damn. Those are the two heroes that left it open for me to not pick what I was wanting to pick.
Oh, okay.
Those are literally the only two heroes I couldn't face. Oh my god, that's so shitty.
What you would pick? Ben, I don't even know.
Alright. Jerk. It might still work. It might still work. That's fine.
The mic is quiet. Hello? Can you hear me?
I can turn you down. Well, I can turn you up here.
Apparently my mic's quiet.
Yeah, I turn you down a little bit because your mic's usually louder than mine. Alright. I have changed Kimbrell's volume set, so
okay.
that
I won't yell on the mic. I have a freestanding one though, so it's just kind of a ways away from my mouth.
So. I'm gonna pick up Tiny.
Ooh, enemy's turn to ban, baby.
Tiny. What do I want to ban? Excuse me?
Oh man, Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to pick a hero. Yeah, your turn to
I don't think
ban
you'll
now.
pick her with the Tiny. I'm gonna ban Medusa.
You really got to pick a hero. You got 10 seconds left. Yeah, 5 seconds left now.
Might have been a wasted ban. Oh well. What you thinking, Flubb?
They got a lot of things here. Thinking I don't want you to have Brewmaster.
Enemy's turn to ban.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's a good ban. Yeah, that hero. Talking about annoying heroes, that's a... Oh, man.
I mean, Disruptor deals with them pretty decently, but...
Your turn to ban.
Yeah. I'm going to ban out Beastmaster. Beastmaster, with that extra vision, is always good with a Disruptor, and he's just a really good hero right now. So, get him out of there.
I'm going to ban Queen of Pain.
Enemy's turn to pick.
Okay. Though you picked up the Disruptor, I'm going to pick up the Centaur.
Your turn to pick.
Okay.
I know it seems kind of odd because the Disruptor can kind of glimpse back somebody or glimpse somebody away from the team, even though they're right there.
10 seconds to pick your hero, you moron.
And I know he's not the best hero right now. He's kind of in a weird
You better
place.
pick your hero. 5 seconds.
I'm going to pick up Monkey King.
Enemy's turn to pick.
All right. I'm going to pick up
Your turn to pick.
Gyrocopter.
Gyrocopter.
I can do his voice. I just have to be like really hyper. And it can't be like the end of the day on a Friday.
You really got to pick a hero.
I don't know if you know this, Flubb, but on my way to work, when I'm trying to like
5
get all
seconds,
hyper
Morty.
for the day,
It'll be fine.
I start doing random shit. I'll do DotA voices or like, I don't know, just stupid shit in my car. It's a 45-minute drive, so I'm just like 20 minutes there. I'm just like, I gotta do something. I start bumping music, start just yelling stupid stuff.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Okay. I think, yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm gonna pick up Storm now. Storm Spirit right now.
Why? That's like the one hero that completely screws over my mid lane that I.
Well, good, because you screwed me over in the beginning.
Your hero, you.
Oh.
5 seconds, Morty. It'll be fine.
Now I feel defeated. Sad. That's alright. I have an idea. So you need to carry. I know. No, you don't. You need another support. I'm gonna get rid of Shadow
Your
Shaman.
turn to ban.
I feel like you don't push very well. I think having another support that helps you push would be good. So.
I don't think you'll pick up a carry, but there's a play that you could do that I'm worried about.
10 seconds left to pick a hero.
You know what? I'm more worried about this. I'm more worried about
you better
Outworld
pick your hero.
Devourer. I'm just gonna
Bros.
ban him out. I think that's really strong on your team right now.
It would be pretty good. Thought about it. It's a good ban.
Okay.
10 seconds to
So
pick your
I'm
hero,
going
you
to pick up
moron.
Undying at
Abby's
this point.
turn to pick.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pick up an Anti-Mage. I didn't plan on it, but I'll just put Gyro mid. Fuck it. And then I pick.
Oh no!
Dude, I did
No!
it. It's 2 weeks in a row. I'm fired. I quit. Damn it.
Oh, it's okay, man.
lame. All right, that's all right. The listeners don't have to worry about it, but the people watching us, sorry about you. I messed up again. You can flame me all you want in chat or flame me on YouTube, whatever.
That's cool, man. Hey, can you hit the pause? I forget how to do
Yeah,
it again.
Yeah, gotcha. All right.
Okay, so for our lineups, I'm going to go through my lineup here real quick, and then I'll go through. Then I'll have you go through your lineup. So my lineup is Disruptor, Tiny, Monkey King, Storm Spirit, and Undying. What did you end up with, Kimbrell?
I have Tusk, Ancient Apparition, Centaur, Warrunner, Gyrocopter, and Anti-Mage.
Okay, so I kind of have. Do you mind if I go first again this week?
Fine, I guess. Go ahead.
Okay, so I honestly kind of thought of. I originally, those of you who are watching will have noticed, I actually had Anti-Mage as the next ban possible for their lineup. And I thought to myself, now hopefully Kimbrell doesn't change his strategy after I tell him this, but I thought that if he put Gyro mid versus a Storm Spirit, he could not push me out completely, but you can push out Storm Spirit pretty decently with missile spam. Mm-hmm. Especially if I can't have the supports roam like I want them to. So that's what I was worried about, and then I was worried about having AM up top. But I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to have that. Excuse me. I don't need to have that happen to make this successful. I don't need to have. If AM's on their team, I can still make it work with Storm, and I can still win mid pretty easily because I have Monkey King in my safe lane, and Monkey King does a very, very good job versus a Centaur. Centaur can't get anything from that lane pretty much, and just if he goes the lane, Monkey King will kill him almost every time. You just get a couple levels in every ability, making sure that you pretty much max your Q, so you get a few right clicks off on him. Whenever you get your Jingu up, you just do massive amounts of damage and straight up kill him. Also, you can keep the Disruptor down there to kind of zone him in the very beginning if you really want to help make sure that Monkey King has a couple levels on him, and then you can rotate mid to help out that Storm as well. And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, one of my favorite ideas here is starting off with Tiny Disruptor, because if you can start off this draft, you can have him as a support, as an off lane, or as a carry. Tiny's a pretty versatile hero right now. He's pretty insane on what he can be capable of doing. In the off lane, you can have him with a tree, and he just like out harasses any single hero in the game because he basically hits at a 600 range, or I think he does hit at a 600 range. So every ranged hero takes like massive amounts of damage in trades, and Tiny's a big strength guy. So unless you have like two guys harassing him out of lane, which if there's three people in a lane to keep Tiny down, then you win your respective lane, other two lanes. And Dota's about winning a numbers game in lanes. So, and Tiny actually, if he doesn't have a lot of farm, he still has stuns to be able to do things later on. So there's a lot of play there. I like him as a support, especially with Disruptor, because there's actually a really funny move, especially versus Centaurs, where you can actually glimpse someone back, and they're going to go back into that one area, and then you can toss them even further back into like a tower. It's kind of like what people used to do with Rubik. You lift someone up, you pull them out away from the creeps, and then you toss them towards someone that is under your tower, and then you beat up on them while having tower aggro as well. And it's like almost a guaranteed first blood. So there's like some funny things that you can do with that as well. But honestly, all in all, like this is not too. You don't have to go into that strategy. There's a lot of different ways you can play this, and that's why I kind of baited it out. I wanted Kimbrell to pick up that AM because I was like, okay, what is the best hero that I can have in the off lane that can kind of like stop the potential of an AM? And I was like, Undying. Undying puts a shit ton of pressure on a tri lane that thinks that it can work as long as he has a decent amount of help from someone else that can put out the same pressure that he does. And Tiny does the same thing. So my lineup is actually a 2-1-2 lineup that eventually becomes a 2-2-1 lineup because Monkey King doesn't need the help. And whenever Monkey King gets a Echo Saber, he can then rotate off from his lane if he needs to help out versus the AM, which actually he matches up very well with farm versus AM. And have one of my other guys, maybe have Tiny go down there, maybe have Storm go down there, depending on the matchup, and help out from there. As well as having Disruptor being able to rotate, he should be able to get some stacks off for the Storm Spirit as well, which if you do have a Gyro mid, it will be able to help him get back into the game and hopefully keep you at bay somewhat. So that's kind of what my thought process was on this draft. I kind of had the inkling that I wanted Tiny and Disruptor at the very beginning to kind of have that combo, possibly with supports, or just use his other abilities as a general purpose. And then I saw other things that kind of unlocked from there. That's generally how you want to, personally, anyone who is drafting as a first phase drafter, you want to have a specific, diverse combo in the very beginning, and then draft to go against what you're going to be facing second phase with your next two picks, and forcibly use something that's like trying to like bait them into a certain scenario. So that's why I picked Undying. Kimbrell, you want to explain your draft real quick?
All right. Pardon my language, but in the lovely words of Mr. Big Daddy No Tail, with your Tiny support, if the game goes full retard, you must go full retard back, or whatever his exact quote is. I'm not a big fan of that word, but so Centaur Warrunner is going to sit in the off lane. Centaur Warrunner is going to die getting his level 2. Centaur Warrunner is going to start moving around with Tusk, and we're just going to kill Storm as many times as we possibly can. And when you rotate your Disruptor mid, it doesn't matter because your Storm has no escape, so he's either going to just sit there and not do anything, or I don't know what he's going to do, but he's screwed because he's going to have a Centaur Tusk. It's like a 2K strat, and we're going to freaking nail it. I promise. At the same time, my AM and AA are going to suffer pretty bad versus Undying bottom. I don't know. I mean, with your Undying, I don't know if I would actually do that. It might be a decent plan. I don't know. But so you are right about Monkey King and Centaur. Monkey King absolutely destroys just about any melee offlaner as it is. I don't know why I just don't ban the stupid hero anyway. So that hero's going to have a hard time. So I really do feel like he's not going to get any farm. You don't have Iron Talon anymore to help you farm the jungle. So I really do feel like just kind of trying to soak what you can and then just getting the hell out of dodge and helping just get kills on mid before Storm gets a 6 and helping kill and just take Dower's bottom if possible. Just getting kills wherever you can. Letting AA soak up extra XP, making Tusk move around the map, trying to get that level 6 as fast as you can. If you're mid getting kills on the Storm, that's great. He's not going to get 6 near as fast. I mean, he'll get it faster probably than Gyro because he's going to be sharing XP. However, so if Centaur is able to get gold from kills, you want that Blink Dagger as soon as you can. You want Gyrocopter to have his 6. Once all your heroes have 6, not really Anti-Mage, doesn't really matter. Who cares about him? You just need him to farm. The other 4 heroes, honestly, are going to run down all but your Storm. Now, Undying is a weird hero to face against because when you're running at him as 3 or 4, and he throws down a Decay, that's a lot of health for him. That's a lot of HP and a lot of strength. So he's going to put out decent damage. He's going to throw up his Tombstone, all that stupid shit. It's going to be annoying. As Gyrocopter, you can just use your what's it called? Not split shot.
Flat cannon.
Flat cannon. You can use that, focus on the Tombstone if you need to, and still be doing damage to others.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think you go much into your queue because let's look at your heroes. You have a Monkey King, a Tiny, an Undying, and a Storm Spirit. You're not going to really want to be too up close to any of those heroes as a Gyrocopter. I don't think if you need to skill it like once early to get an early kill, great. Otherwise, homing missile and flat cannon, wonderful skills that will help you fight in team fights. And like I said, with the flat cannon, if you get that eventually maxed out by level 9, you're able to focus the Tombstone while also doing damage to other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a wacky game. There's going to be some rotations that are going to be weird. I might be lacking on levels at some point, but you kind of have to take advantage of what you have. Tusk Centaur is always one of those. It's that combo that's kind of like, if you get caught out by it, you're it's possible you're dead, especially if it's Gyro mid or if there's an AA and he has his Ice Vortex with his stun and Chilling Touch or whatever all he has, or if he even has his all at level 6. Most of your heroes besides the Undying are going to... The Undying and the Storm. The Storm has an escape after level 6, so that is an issue, but Tiny, Monkey King, and Disruptor, I feel like personally, those 4 heroes right there can just... That's a kill squad. They can just take any of those heroes out that I just mentioned, push a tower if they need to. The biggest problem with that is the Anti-Mage, obviously. Was a good bait because you are going to be able to apply some pressure. He's not going to be able to farm as much as he needs to or as fast as he needs to, but hopefully you can take it a little later if you're possible. AM, late game versus a Storm. Kind of varies. If you hit your item timings at the right time and you have a Manta by the time the Storm has an Orchid, if he goes Orchid first, you should be okay. I know the build doesn't... Storm's new build doesn't really call for Orchid. Typically it's the Kaya Bloodstone or Kaya then Orchid or something like that, but by that time your AM hopefully is approaching getting that Manta, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And honestly, once he gets Basher, if he needs to start fighting with the team, he can. But yeah, I think the only weird thing, like I said, is with Gyrocopter, and it might not be that weird. I don't play the often, but I would not skill the Q unless it's for a guaranteed first blood. Otherwise, homing missile max. I know that's a thing in mid, and then your flat cannon max, I think, is probably what you want to do next. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think there's decent damage coming out. Like I said, with the Tusk, you don't have to rely on the Centaur blink, so Tusk can roll you in. And then you throw down the shards, Centaur stomping. AA has his Ice Vortex in there for the extra damage coming out from Centaur, magic damage coming from his double edge or whatever it's called. AA Blast if he has it by that point. Gyrocopter, his ult and all his damage he has coming. If you homing missile somebody and you get the stomp and all that stuff on, that person is going to die. Homing missile is a really good spell versus Monkey King. He can't try to dodge and can't try to jump into the trees away from a team fight or something like that if homing missile's on him. So, yeah, and then Centaur ult. Centaur ult's always pretty good. I know you have a Disruptor. You can pull back one of my heroes, and if they pull him back, you can possibly turn around the fight, or you just leave that hero to die, or he can push back somebody. If you're chasing down someone, he can push back your Tusk or something like that, who kind of kills your initiation until Centaur gets blinked. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, kind of. I mean, you can still snowball and go off the map, and it actually overrides my pool. So I can't really do that to Tusk individually. If there's like creeps around or something, he can just
yeah,
snowball and get away from it.
yeah,
Uh, the thing is, though, I feel like what I love about my strategy is that, like, yeah, you're gonna crap on Storm Spirit. Like, if you're gonna do that weird stuff, like, totally, I 100% agree. You're gonna crap on Storm Spirit so hard, but Tiny's gonna have a free lane, and like I was saying before, like, Tiny's so good right now, and he can be a carry. So if I get free farm with Tiny, that's fine. I'm okay with having free farm with Tiny if Storm does nothing. And honestly, like, I know it sounds a little weird to a lot of people, but I'd rather have a Storm with like zero farm than an AM with it's his matchup right now. Like, Undying Tiny, unless you have like three people there, and even then, I don't think you win. You have to have like four people there and like push the favor over to your side. It's gonna be hell for him to get any farm. And like,
right.
at least Storm can like zip away and like not feed. Whereas, like, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you can blink away and not feed for sure, but like, Storm can still farm jungles. He can still like kind of farm back his potential. You do have Gyro to kind of like help out an AM, but I like the capability of my stack taking team. Like, if I get let's say if a Monkey King gets his Jingus off, I can just, instead of going for a kill, I can or I can go for the kill, and then I can, if I still have my Q up, I can go like take a stack. Tiny's really good at taking stacks, like super good right now at taking stacks, and Storm's really good at taking stacks. So like, I still like the way my team matches up versus a Gyro that goes like more farm heavy type build, and I also crap on people that do farm by having an Undying. And that's why the hero, like, I love the hero so much. And why most people don't pick it is because you don't have enough stun. And I clearly have enough stun on my team. So, like, honestly, I feel so comfortable with this lineup, because, and it was kind of fell into my lap. My whole idea was Disruptor Tiny, and then I was kind of just answering what your draft was from there. And like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying that, like, there's multiple ways that I can stop your TPs, but still be useful at different parts in the game. I think that this may be like a really good lineup to have in the future versus like other teams too. Um, Not only the one that you specifically presented.
So what if my Gyro goes like a magic build and we just get even extra crazy, right?
Yeah, I
What
thought
if we
about that
just
too, man. And that could be seriously dangerous because my guys are kind of squishy, except for Tiny,
right?
which you kind
Yeah,
of want magic damage because he needs to blow up really fast because you can't lock him down.
yeah. I just feel like that adds the extra early game punch that it kind of allows other lanes to open up, the jungle to open up, and I mean, my Centaur Tusk hopefully aren't going to be mid the entire time.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully they're not going to be there. You're like, you're going to kill Storm and you're going to leave, or you're going to kill Storm, you're going to go get runes, come back, hopefully kill Storm again, and then you're going to leave. And then if they leave, you go bottom and you try to secure that farm for AM. You get another kill possibly, who knows, on the Tiny or something like that, or you just push them back away from the lane and allow AM to farm. So I don't know. I think both drafts are good. I think with mine, it requires quite a bit of teamwork. Because, like I said, the Centaur, and like you said, the Centaur is just gonna get shit on if he stays in the off lane. And there's nothing worse as a Centaur who kind of relies on a blink, sitting in the off lane, not getting anything, hardly leveling any, like being like to get any levels, to get any farm, anything. So if you have to leave that lane and you have to go with Tusk to get some kills and just use that cheesy combo, I mean, do it, I guess, allow the Monkey King to farm. I'd rather allow your Monkey King to farm and just take care of him later, because I really don't. I know he can put out a lot of damage, but I don't know. I think that with a farmed AM, it doesn't really. If you have a farmed Gyro and then you have a farmed AM versus a farmed Monkey King, I think AM wins that battle every time. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think we have conflicting opinions for like the first time I think in a while.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I see how yours definitely works. I see how and why it would work. I see why you could beat my team. I just don't
believe in it, huh?
I don't believe in it, Flubb. I believe in my team. All right. Originally, I wanted. I typically talk about what I originally wanted. I wanted Zeus.
Oh yeah.
Pick. Yeah, and you picking Storm, I didn't necessarily. I thought it could still be okay, but Zeus, Storm kind of shits on Zeus after between that level. Once he hits level 6, until Zeus can get a little more items, or until he can get a Yules or something, Storm, in my opinion, takes complete advantage of a Zeus. So I definitely didn't want to have that matchup.
So your thing, you revealed your strategy. I'm gonna reveal mine. So at the beginning, you banned Clock. I immediately thought, all right, I may need to try to do Tinker this game. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna ban Nyx. And you're like, oh man, I was gonna ban Nyx, and I was like, is he gonna pick Tinker? Like, I was so concerned. And then your next ban, I think, was Silencer, and I was like, oh my god, he's picking Tinker. Like, he's taking out every single Tinker counter. And then I was like, man, all right, so who's left on the field that can give sight? It's like, okay, there's how was it? Beastmaster, but he kind of works with them, so you wouldn't necessarily want to get rid of him. And then you got rid of Beastmaster, and I was like, shit! Like, he's really picking Tinker. And then I was like, okay, so on the field, what else gives sight? There's not really much else. I banned out Night Stalker. We're all good. Like, there's only a couple things that can counter out Tinker right now. And those two things are Tusk and AA that will give sight with not that the Marshman won't even kill. So I got to get, like, hopefully he doesn't pick either one of those two. If he picks one of them, it's okay. If he picks both of them, I can't do it. You picked both of them. Like, immediately. No thought at all. You're just like, I'm picking these two. It's like, shit.
Damn it. I should have waited. I should have picked like the Centaur or something instead. I feel like Zeus kind of shits on Tinker.
Oh yeah, God yeah, that too. But like, I would have banned that eventually, you know, like.
Right.
But it was.
Funny.
I would have picked that up. The thing was like your first supports; those were the only two I was worried about. And then like, if you would have let me pick it up, if you would have not picked up those two immediately, if you had picked up like one and then picked up something else, I was gonna pick Tinker my first phase, and then I was gonna ban out Zeus, and then whatever you didn't pick. Exactly. Like, I had it all planned out, and you foiled it immediately. Immediately.
That's pretty funny. Have you ever? Oh man, I played a game where we had a Zeus and an Ancient Apparition, and I don't know if you ever played those two heroes together recently. I know it's like global strat or whatever, but when you get that Zeus mini stun and you ult a person's base, and they have a support like a CM or a Dazzle or something like that, your AA ult it, and then you just throw the Nimbus down, that hero dies. Like, it's almost a guarantee, and it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
But it was, I don't know, it was pretty darn funny.
Dude, that's an insane combo anyway, just because he increases the magic damage. Like, having Kaya and freaking Veil and AA bump, it's like, okay, that person takes a lightning bolt and is dead.
Yeah, not all you need is an Elder Titan and a Pugna. Just deleted from the game completely. So.
This sounds like the old, Dire Tide strats of like killing Roche as fast as possible. All right, we're gonna stack all the magic buffs in the game. Let's do this, boys. Oh man.
All right, we got some fucking idiot in chat. All right. Anyway.
I didn't even see it, but that's okay.
I just saw it.
But yeah, that's crazy. Well, anyway, is there anything else you want to kind of talk about your strategy? I kind of want to talk about mine a little bit more.
No, not really. There's really not a whole lot. I think I covered most of my bases.
Okay.
Ancient Apparition, real quick. don't max cold feet. That's just my opinion. You can take it as is.
I 100% agree with this.
So many, God, dude, I play so many games. Picks AA, and they first skill and max cold feet. First skilling it, sure, if you have enough lockdown, I guess it's okay. But chilling touch, even though I got nerfed to hell, still good. Also, ice vortex, so good. It's like one of the best early freaking skills in the game. Slows them way the hell down, allows you to stun them. Yes, and then also it adds magic damage. Like they take extra damage. Oh, it's so good. And people freaking max cold feet. It tilted easy. All right. Anyway, you can go ahead.
Yeah, in combination with his E too. Like that's the thing I don't understand, man. It's like, yeah, he's not a stunning hero. Like his stun is awful. Like no one ever picks up the hero for his stun. Why do people max the thing that's like, okay, this is the crappy stun?
Right, like you get one skill in at one point in it, and you're able to keep them locked down for just a couple or for an extra second. That's great. But maxing it, if you miss a stun from the other hero, it's a wasted skill, and you don't have any. You hardly have a slow.
Yep. I feel these pains, my friend. I feel these pains so much. I for one like hate whenever people, because I've been talking about it forever, especially whenever he got the bonus move speed from the Ice Vortex, dude. Mm-hmm. That is so good. You just lay it on top of yourself, give yourself that extra boost, and like put that distance between you and whoever's attacking you, and it just, you can bait people so easily into like the dumbest situations. Oh, it's great. Anyway, real quick about my draft. I really want to strongly focus on, if you, with this draft, you want to put as much pressure as you can on your off lane and safe lane. Like that's how I draft a lot of times, is that if you are one of these players that likes to stay in the back and likes to like, okay, if they do come up on me, then I have answers to this problem, do not play these types of drafts. That is like going to get you in trouble immediately, and these will never work out for you. Monkey King has to be aggressive, so you have to have wards to be aggressive. You need to get like wards on like the spires on the off lane. Those are very good board spots for the safe lane. A lot of people are dewarding like the ones that you put in lane, like in the like actual tracks of the lane. So I actually have stopped doing that, and I've put wards up in the spires because people are stopped dewarding those areas. If you can do that, and you can guarantee that the safe lane has that ward pretty early, that's what makes this whole combo work. And a lot of times I feel like people try to run these combos that I talk about, and they don't properly support the way to do it. You have to give people vision, otherwise these guys that are the lane dominators, quote unquote, will have these really easy rotations from the other team's supports and take them out, and then all this like lane domination presence doesn't mean jack, because they will get like this massive kill that gives them 700 gold and gets them really close to a blink dagger, and then they can actually start doing things in the game again. So like make sure as supports that you're always leaving the carry site. And like if they're not taking advantage of it, that's not your problem. That's their problem. But you need to make sure that you put it in good spots, and also like be comfortable with losing a lane. A lot of people, I actually fall into this trap as well. Like you don't want to necessarily win all your lanes, but you want to win most of your lanes. So especially now more than ever in this patch, you have to guarantee that one of your lanes win. So if like Storm was having like just getting crapped on, like if Kimbrell was making sure that Tusk and Centaur were always mid, then just like be like, okay, Storm's a lost cause. Go to the jungle and then go back there whenever they leave the lane, as best you can. Because like the problem in this meta is not feeding. Because like the first 10 minutes don't really matter that much at all. It's about like getting last hits in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. And if you can guarantee that the people that super need those last hits in the first 10 minutes get their last hits, you can have almost any hero in the game work in the correct scenario. There's not a lot of take away from it, and that's why certain heroes are stronger, like Razor and things like that, because they give the potential of having the support rotate away and still have that presence of pushing them out, the other guy out.
Yeah.
So just wanted
Yeah,
to reiterate that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, especially if you're in the off lane, and you get killed twice, like it doesn't. If you're getting one, you're getting last hits, or you're getting that extra experience that the safe lane's not getting because you're solo. I know feeding away, whatever you want to call it, 2 kills within a certain amount of time before that 10 minutes is not terrible. Like it's great if you don't do it, but if you die twice, don't like stress out about it, because that means your other lanes are likely getting farm because they're focusing so much on you. They're not rotating their supports, etc. So it's not a terrible thing. And then those supports eventually are going to rotate out, and you're going to have that ability to farm. And then if you need to TP, typically as an offlaner, you're going to have the skill or two, or the stun or two, to help a lane that's being pressured anyway. So I completely agree with what you said.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, we're kind of running a little bit long here. Sorry, man. I keep going off on tangents today.
You're good.
But I think I'm gonna have to wrap up the show at this point. Do you want to? I want to give you a chance if you want to say anything else. If not, you go ahead and start rating your beer.
Before I rate my beer, I'm going to give my buddy a shout out. Travis has been watching the entire stream. He hardly knows a damn thing about Dota, but it's pretty cool that he's here. Also, I'm about to go hang out with him. His wife is throwing some kind of party. My wife is making me go to, and his wife has made him go to. So it's going to be one of those wonderful bro moments that
Nice.
Hopefully we can get through, and then we'll play some Fortnite tonight. So I'm going to rate my beer probably a 4. It was pretty good. Yeah, I would say a 4. At first, it's kind of the same as problem we run into as with some beers. It's like it's a little bitter at first, a little more bitter than you expect or than you want. But after a few drinks, then it's like, okay, I feel this. I got this beer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would give it a 4. After the first couple sips, first couple drinks, was pretty smooth, pretty good. Definitely something that I could have more often. Just got to get through those first couple drinks to kind of get your mouth accustomed to the taste, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. What about your beer?
My beer, I've given it a lot of thought. I've been drinking on it. I actually got to give it a 2.5, man. I know it's kind of low, but it's because, and I don't want to say this like this, but like it's totally misadvertised in my opinion. Like I know that shouldn't be like so much in a beer's idea of like it being bad or good, but like I want to make sure that the beer that they like describe in the name, I want it to be something that like I can relate and know how like dark or how light or how bitter or sour it is based on the name. And like Tank 7, I think of like a dark ale, right? I think of something that's like something heavy that I can drink on, that's like nice. Whether it's like super hoppy or not, I feel like it's a dark beer. This was like a light citrus ale that was sour at the same time. It was light, sour, and citrus, and it was like, like a Farmhouse Tank 7 ale. Like that does not sound right at all to me. That should be citrusy. Like,
yeah,
talk about like the sunshine or something. Then you got a citrus ale. Like,
right.
It's like drinking Sprite when you thought that you had water, man. I'm just like, what am I drinking?
Right.
But yeah, it's still an okay beer, so I'll give it a 2.5. I don't want to trash it too hard.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, if that's it, I'm gonna start closing out the show now. To help us out, you can like or subscribe to any of our videos. You can go to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ZombiePandaStudios. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is Zombie Panda Studios. If you're feeling extra generous, you can give to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/ZombiePandaStudios. And you can find all the stuff that Kimbrell's been doing with Old School Cool and a lot of other cool things like that. He also does some coaching himself, and he has a unique perspective on the team aspect, drafting team fight style I guess I should have just let you talk this, but he does a very good job at team fight style and puts me in my place sometimes, obviously. So if you want any help with him on drafting, he's expressed interest in that. Also, if you want a Divine 5 to coach you.
Divine 5.
I feel so good. 1,200 in the Americas, you know.
The Americas. Oh my god.
I'm such a tool. But anyway, if you Kimbrell gives a thumbs up, like yep. But if you want me to coach you at all, there's also information there. I'd love to teach you guys. I'd love to share some of my knowledge. Honestly, it's something that I almost enjoy more than playing at this point. So if you guys are interested, you can always find more information at our Patreon. You can follow me at my Twitter at FlubbDota. You can follow Kimbrell at his Twitter at ZPSKimbrell. Or you can follow us both at ZPanda Studios. If you want to, you can listen to our podcast instead of watching the VOD, and you can actually listen to them on all these different platforms. Thanks to Kimbrell. He did a lot of work this week. So you can find us now on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, or on our RSS feed. So we have all of the places that you can find. And we're just going to keep on going. We're hopefully going to be able to be as useful and as available as you want us to be. So I'm excited about that.
Hell yeah, man.
I want to give a special shout out to all of our Patreons this month. Tim Kinisky, Ryane, Ebel, Justin Mcguire, Andrew Jacoboski, Brandon Henderson, Sonny, Dylan, and Jennifer Pockett. Thank you all for donating this month. You're the ones who keep this going. So we really appreciate it. All right, and that's it. Thanks for sitting down and having a beer with us today. We had a lot of fun.
Wait.
Oh.
I just remembered something. I know you're closing out the show. Our new show, hopefully coming out within the next week. Flubb and I are going back and forth on a name. We got a couple names picked out. I got my favorite. Once we get the name figured out and we get some design for it, we could possibly have us a new show next week or the week after. Get excited. It'll just be a monthly show about the wonderful drama of Dota 2 or skills of Dota 2 or anything we learned, any tournaments going on, any updates, anything like that. The Fnatic drama, the PPD drama, the Captain's Draft, this and that, Midas Mode, whatever it is, TI. We're going to have it for you monthly. So get excited. I'm excited. Thank you and goodbye.
Yes, everything that Kimbrell just said, we are really looking forward to it. We'll give you more information next week. We'll probably, honestly, I think that we should just announce it like next week. Like on Friday, we'll probably announce the show and what the name is and stuff like that. But yeah. So stay tuned for next week. That kind of goes into what I have to say anyway. So stay tuned for next week at 5:30 Eastern. We were just doing a little bit later tonight because obviously things happen, life happens, but you know, as long as you guys are sticking around and hanging out with us, we really appreciate it. But we will catch you next week at 5:30, and if not, we'll hopefully catch you at our new show. Hopefully, I think we're going to be doing it on Sundays or Mondays or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll let you know more next week. But it was fun. I'm glad that we were able to share beer, and I'll catch you later. See ya.
Bye, everyone.